Thanks for joining us here on WESH. We're about to get an update from Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer on the efforts to help all the families of the victims involved in that Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yeah,
Good morning, everyone. As our community continues to recover, the City of Orlando's Family Assistance Center is a critical connection between the victims and important services they need as part of their recovery. Behind me stand a representative sample of the individuals and agencies that are staffing the center. It's important to remember that these victims are having normal reactions to a very abnormal event. And that is why the city, working with Orange County, the state of Florida, the FBI's Office of Victim Assistance, and the American Red Cross, have assembled 35 different agencies on site to assist these victims and their families. Services at the Family Assistance Center range from grief counseling to financial assistance to obtaining visas to something that wouldn't have occurred to anybody, recovering the deceased cars and transferring title. We can't thank these organizations enough for their tireless efforts in this difficult situation, and I want to personally thank them right now. Over the past 2 days since we've opened the center, 94 families and 256 individuals have visited us for assistance. Some of the people come here thinking they need only 1 or 2 resources, but once they see the variety, they leave with so much more. Just a few of the examples: over 200 free airline tickets have been provided to grieving families to reunite them with their loved ones. So far, 85 compensation claims have been filed for victims to receive help from medical or funeral expenses, including claims from all 49 families of the deceased. We have 65 translators on site speaking multiple languages, including Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and French. One family came here not knowing what they'd be able to find. They came for one simple thing: to find out about burial, and they were able to get support from 27 different agencies. Amy Decker with the Red Cross is going to talk about that a little bit. Amy?
Thank you all for being here. We're honored as the Red Cross to be a part of the city and all the organizations that are represented. I've responded to many disasters, and to see the incredible coordination of over 50 agencies to come together is such a blessing to the victims and their families. And the mayor's asked me to just talk about one family that came in with one request. And through the coordinated efforts of everyone here, through the City of Orlando, 27 different agencies identified needs of this family. And by the time they left yesterday, there wasn't one single thing that these 16 family members didn't receive. And I just wanted to let everyone know that what's happening here is everything that these people need, with the love and support of the country and the world and through the City of Orlando. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. We've had a significant impact in reaching out to victims and their families, but we know that there are still more individuals and families that need our help. So this center is open to anyone who has been directly affected by the tragedy, either physically or mentally. We know that there were individuals in the club that night that may not have suffered a physical injury, but you know that they have suffered a mental trauma. And if you have a friend or a family member who is affected, please encourage them to seek help. All our services are confidential. This is a supportive, inclusive, and safe environment for everyone. And if you don't feel comfortable coming down to the site, we would still encourage you to call us at 407-246-4600. 4357, 407-246-4357, and we will reach out to you. The Family Assistance Center will remain open throughout the weekend, today until 8, Saturday from 8 to 2, and then Sunday from noon to 8. I'd like at this time to call on Commissioner Pete Clark from Orange County, followed by Donna Weiss from Orange County. Pete.
Thank you, Mayor. And you know, it's hard to imagine what's happened behind me without being true partners with the city, with the state, Manny and the EMS and the Emergency Operations Center. It all comes together for two reasons. First is compassion for our community and wanting to help people who are facing some really insurmountable odds. And I cannot imagine what these folks are faced with or going through. But I think what we need to keep in mind too is when time passes, when a few weeks passes, what are we going to do? We're going to be here for them, and I think we will be. We're going to make sure that we continue to offer support. It's like when you suffer a loss and everyone leaves and you're sitting in your home thinking, okay, what do I do now? Well, we're going to be there for them. We haven't figured out the mechanics, but I've been talking with Don and some folks that we really need to make sure that it continues on. And I just want to commend everyone who pulled together. And this looks like a big, imposing building. If someone is afraid to come here, don't be. Inside, you're going to find warmth. You're going to find folks who really, really care. I've worked with some of these people in the past, and they're not here because they have to be. They're here because they want to be here. They want to be here to help the community. They want to be here to help folks who are suffering and help them through this crisis. And I can only say that, and it's been said many, many times, when something happens in this community, we're all here together. We're all here pulling together. I'm glad you guys were here. You were just so good through the whole process of getting the right information out. We appreciate that. Let people know, you know, what's going on and get accurate information. And I think if people are a little hesitant and they don't know the number, they can always call 211, even 311 with the county can lead them here, lead them to where they want to be. But you know, my hat's off, Mayor Dyer, to you and your folks, to the Red Cross, Orange County, DCF, everyone who jumped in and really did the right thing. So thank you very much for being here, and let's make sure that anybody who needs services know where to get them, and we'll be there for them. Thank you.
Good morning. You know, we talk about this event and this tragedy. We don't often talk about other people other than the victims who are suffering. This is an abnormal event for our community. So people like you and me, people in our community, people nationally and internationally are going to feel the effects of this. And they're going to feel the effects of this right now, and they're going to feel the effects of this in weeks and months to come. So we want people to take care of themselves. We want them to know that there are things that they're going to feel that is going to feel different for them, but to understand what they need to do to take care of themselves. People are going to feel anxious, they're going to feel sad, they're going to have nightmares, they're going to burst into tears for what they think is no real good reason. But all of those, and what we've suffered in our community, all of what we've suffered is the reason. So pay attention to how you're feeling. Reach out to people that you know, that you love, that care for you and that you care for them. Talk to your children about what happened on terms that they understand, and encourage them to understand the world we live in and that they are safe. You've got to encourage them along this path. So as we go through this, take care of yourself, get away from the television, get away from the radio, because sometimes you need to do that. Get adequate sleep. If you're having nightmares, talk to someone. Reach out. It's okay to get that kind of help. If you're at work and it's affecting your work and your concentration, if you have an employee assistance program, seek them out. Tell people how you're feeling. Let them understand, because likelihood is they're feeling the same way. Get rest, get exercise, drink and eat, drink lots of water. We all say that. But take care of yourself and understand what you're feeling is a normal feeling. We're here to take care of the victims of this crime. You will see in the weeks and months to come that there will be so many people that will be reaching out to help the community as well as the victims that have suffered from this tragedy. I praise the folks who have been on the ground here. Mayor Dyer, his folks have been so engaging and welcoming to us, to all these therapists who are working hand in hand with these families right now. We'll continue to work with these families weeks, months, and years to come. Thank you. I'm sorry. Luis Martinez from the City of Orlando will now deliver a message for you in Spanish.
Good morning. Además de los directamente afectados por el tiroteo, todos en esta ciudad.
We've been getting an update on this Family Services Center that's set up at the Citrus Bowl, now known as Camping World Stadium, offering up services to people here who have been directly affected by the Pulse nightclub tragedy. 35 plus agencies out there, and so far, more than 90 families have received help.
Yeah, 256 individuals have come in there getting everything from grief counseling to obtaining visas. As we know, a lot of the victims in the shooting were from different countries, so it's just been a great help for them. And, you know, something that Mayor Dyer said, something they didn't know they would have to deal with is, you know, recovering cars, transferring titles, and they've been able to do that there.
Yeah, there's so much assistance here, and they also have asked that if you have a family member or a friend who was directly affected by this tragedy, whether they were physically hurt or just dealing with some mental anguish after all of this, that they need to seek help. And again, that number, and we've been showing it to you, is 246-4357 to get assistance in this case, and to go out to the Camping World Stadium. That's where you can get help directly from all of those agencies there.
Yeah, and that Camping World Stadium, the Service Center opens again today at 10 a.m. Again, we're showing you that number just in case maybe you don't feel comfortable going, as Mayor Dyer mentioned. You can call for help.
Yeah, and there are translators and so many other services. We heard the story from the Red Cross about one family. They showed up, they thought they had a couple of needs, and by the time it was done, more than 24 needs were met, and they said everything had been taken care of. And they're talking things like funeral arrangements, helping out with identification, any other needs that were there, they were able to help them. And we heard just a couple of the things that they've been able to do by providing more than 200 airline tickets at no cost to these family members, so they can get other family members here to the Central Florida region for funerals, for other things. There have been 85 compensation claims filed, and of those, 49 are from the families of those who were killed. So all 49 families there have been able to take care of this. You know, something that you just don't even know how to do. Well, there are people there, they help you and they guide you through the process.
Right, and this service center that is going to remain open through the weekend, that's the site for also the City game, which is going to be the first place where people can get their hands on one of those Orlando United t-shirts that everyone has been trying to get, that sold out yesterday. It looks like Mayor Dyer is speaking again. Let's listen
right
in.
here in this one location. Perfect example of how our community is coming together. And at our pre-briefing, I told the volunteers, the people, that it turned out so many people are looking for ways to help the victims, help the families, and they're the fortunate ones. They actually get to deliver to the families and to the victims. So we're showing the world that we are, in fact, Orlando United. I'm so proud of the people that are standing behind me. We are going to make some of them available. Not all of the agencies will allow their personnel to speak on camera, so the ones that can will be available to talk to you about some of the services that they're providing. Okay, thank you for coming. I'll take a couple questions if you have any general questions.
Mayor, can you talk about the changes to One Orlando and the distribution of the money, and it's now going to go directly to victims?
We're working through that. So many of the communities that set up funds took weeks and weeks to distribute the funds. We're working through how we can directly distribute the funds and on what criteria, but we want to distribute them directly to the victims and the families. We've engaged the gentleman that did the Boston Strong, or the One Boston Fund, to help us. He's flying in to help give us some direction, but we are working through those details.
Well, Mayor, that's Feinberg, and I know he says that there should be one big fund, but there's multiple funds that have been established for victims. Is there a chance it's going to be combined so that there'll be a unified
We're working, the only fund that we have control over is the oneorlando.org fund. So that is the fund that we are determining exactly how we will distribute it, but we will be distributing directly to victims and their families.
Mayor, can I ask you, obviously the town, this city's still dealing with this. You have a number of funerals coming up. It's going to be very difficult for the city. Talk to your citizens about how they can deal with funeral after funeral, goodbye after goodbye. It's going to be very difficult.
I don't know how many of the funerals will take place in the city of Orlando, but we have offered a section of Greenwood Cemetery, which the city owns, to any of the families that would like to have their loved one buried here in Orlando. We will set that up as a memorial site. I believe that one of the victims has already been buried there, with several more this weekend. My policy is going to be that I will only attend a funeral if the family asks me to. I do not want to intrude on private funeral services. I would ask the community to be respectful, and the media as well, that only if they want you there to be there. These are private ceremonies. People are hurting and they're burying their loved ones, and we've been on a continuum of responses and feelings, and it's going to continue to be tough.
Do you anticipate the center being open past Sunday? I know you guys said it was to be determined. If not, will there be an alternate location established?
We'll make that call on Sunday. We'll see what the need remains to be, but we will certainly make sure that services continue to be available. We'll just make that call on Sunday exactly how we're going to do that.
And Mr. Mayor, can you confirm that 100% of those funds from One Orlando will actually go to victims' families?
We are going to make sure that the funds go to the victims' families. We have not worked out the details, so I don't want to commit to something that changes over the course of time. Remember, we weren't anticipating last Sunday that we'd be collecting funds to distribute to help victims and help their families. We want to make sure that we do it correctly. We want to do it transparently. We want to be accountable for the funds. A lot of great community partners have given a lot of money to the fund. Last time I checked, it was over $7 million. So we want to make sure that we are transparent, that we comply with the law, that we comply with IRS regulations, and we don't want to do it in a haphazard fashion. One and then two.
Any updates on the investigation? Some information yesterday was asking about the government texting his wife during the attack and asking about the
I don't have any direct information on what the killer was doing during the course of time, or any additional information that the FBI has not released. I actually have learned more from news reports about that than direct information that I have, and I don't have any firsthand knowledge of what the text messages were. I can tell you that one of the things that was going on, though, during the course of time was immediately after the shooting began, 911 began receiving calls, and I talked to our personnel there, and they said when those calls came in, our training kicked in and we did our job. So I'm so proud of them. Imagine what they were going through, having calls and hearing gunfire in the background of those calls. So they stepped up and they did their job that night. But there were people that were texting in addition to the killer. There were hostages that were texting from inside the nightclub. They were texting to other loved ones, maybe their significant other or their parents, and the parents were calling 911. So we were getting information relayed to us through hostages texting to other loved ones who were talking to 911. Yes, ma'am.
Two questions. What can you describe what the 85 compensation claims have done to what kind of compensation we're talking about? And secondly, according to sources in Puerto Rico, they haven't, families there have not been able to secure financial support to even get themselves to the airport to come to mourn their family members over here. So are you aware of this issue?
We're working with the government of Puerto Rico on those issues, and we have, to my knowledge, done, let's see, Kathy DeVault, can you come up here for a minute? Can you answer those couple of questions?
I can. And
Or
I think
Red
we've got
Cross?
some folks from Puerto Rico here. Yeah. we have the government of Puerto Rico.
Okay. You want to ask that question again?
Sure. The second question was, according to sources in Puerto Rico, families who lost loved ones here don't have the money to go over to even get themselves to the airport for a free flight. And the question is, what are you able to do over here to give financial support to get the family members over here for their...
Yes, at this time we've been in contact with the government of Puerto Rico, and we have been arranging transportation for the loved one to arrive here in Orlando, and also for the recovery of the body to be transported to Puerto Rico. At this point, we don't have that information yet. Sí, el gobierno de Puerto Rico está trabajando con los municipios, diferentes municipios de Puerto Rico, y estamos facilitando todas las ayudas a las personas que son las víctimas de la familia para arreglar la transportación para que vengan aquí a Estados Unidos y puedan recobrar su cadáver de las víctimas y llevado a Puerto Rico. My name is Hector Rodriguez.
In terms of the compensation claims, I guess they're confidential, so they are things like funeral services and burials, medical expenses, things of that nature, but we can't talk about the individual claims. We are working through exactly how we're going to distribute those, but it became very clear early on that there were families and individuals and victims that were in need of compensation in a very quick fashion, people that didn't have groceries, that didn't have rent money, and that there was a great need to distribute the money directly to victims and families.
Can you tell us what you discussed with President Obama yesterday?
We discussed the tragedy. We discussed how it happened and some of the details of it. He was very well informed, obviously, from FBI briefings. He talked about the support that he had for the community. One of the things he talked about was the fact that I think he said it was the 15th time that he's had to visit a community that had a tragedy of some sort, this being the impacting the most victims and families and community. So he was extremely compassionate. He spoke with the first responders and thanked them for the job that they had done. He was very graceful, and the families were very grateful to have the President of the United States come and share that he felt their pain and had a broken heart as well. I'll take one more question. We haven't determined that exactly yet. It's really difficult to figure that out exactly. How do you do it? So what we want to do is we want to do it right. We want you to know exactly what we're doing. We want the people that have given the money to be comfortable with what we're doing with the funds, and then we want to be as transparent, and we want people to understand that we want to be fair with the allocation. So we don't want to just knee-jerk start handing it out, but we also want to get it out quickly and expeditiously. But again, we want to make sure that we do it right and we do it transparently. Thank you very much. And the providers, unfortunately, are going to have to go back upstairs because we opened back at 10, so they're going to go on back up and be prepared to serve.
And you've just been listening to an update from Mayor Buddy Dyer on the services they are providing to victims' families from the Pulse shooting. One of the things, the takeaways from this is that One Orlando Fund now over the $7 million mark, which is just huge.
Yeah, and we asked the mayor, reporter Robert Lowe is there, about how the money will be distributed. And the mayor said that's still something that the city of Orlando and other leaders are working to figure out. So right now, he said he wants to be transparent with that, and he wants to make sure the money goes directly to the victims and the families of victims in this deadly Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yeah, and that service center opens up at 10 a.m. It stays open until 8 o'clock and several other hours throughout the weekend. You can find those hours on WESH.com. Thanks for tuning in with us.